Hello and welcome to the second episode of Bible FIFA on FIFA 21. Here's a recap of the team that we're rocking, and here's the team that we played against in this episode, a fairly stacked team. However, we got off to the perfect start, slotting in Lucas Moura for a 12th minute goal, which gives us an option from the Book of Luke or Acts for the Bible passage. He did respond with that goal there for 1-1. However, at the other end, Lucas Moura again, with what I think goes down as a 36th, 37th minute goal. We'll work with something around there. I then scored a goal of Marcus Rashford in the 44th minute. I think you can call that a scissor kick. A pile drive with Jesus in the 59th minute gives us another option from what to read from. And then finally, a sweaty goal across to Marcus Rashford in the 65th minute for the rage quit for a 5-1 win. And now, without further ado, let's hop into the Bible passage.
Right, okay, so for the Bible passage, we had quite a few options for what we could read from, but we're going to go with the first goal that I scored with Lucas Moura in the 12th minute, and we're going to turn to Luke chapter 12, and there's a section in here where Jesus talks to his disciples about not being anxious. And this is what it says in Luke chapter 12, verse 22 down to 25. Therefore I tell you, this is Jesus speaking to his disciples, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on. For life is more than food, and the body is more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? Now, Jesus is quite clearly addressing this issue of anxiety, and I think in our life today, anxiety is a massive thing. We see all around us. All of us would probably admit there's many times, probably every day, we have moments of anxiety in various different ways. And Jesus draws this comparison to the ravens, when it comes to provision, and saying if you're worried about sort of day-to-day provision for you, whether that be, God helping me at school or helping me at work or providing the money I need or the food I need or a future that I need or work or career or wife or husband, whatever that might be, God's like, look, if I provide daily for the ravens, for the birds, for the animals in this world, what they need, and yet I care about you guys as humans even more than I care about the animals, how much more faith can you have that I'm going to provide everything that you need in this life? And there is a difference there between what we need and what we want. Sometimes what we want isn't always best for us, and God knows that, and we have to trust him with that if you put your faith in him. But there's an encouragement there, and not wasting time worrying and being anxious. I think I spent so many hours growing up, and probably even now there's times I waste a lot of time worrying, thinking about this, what about this scenario, what about this scenario, when I go to work today, what about this conversation, what about this? And sometimes it's okay to think and plan ahead about things, but to the point where you're just worrying and wasting time, Jesus is like, let's not waste our time worrying. If you're a Christian, you can take a lot of encouragement that God is going to help you day to day. Just live in the day, one day at a time. Trust him that he'll help you with what you need to do in that day. If you've got an exam coming up or something you're worried about, you can do the prep that you need to do, but then it's just a case of trusting God with the rest. He'll help you to do the best you can in each given situation without overstressing and analysing and worrying about every detail, because that's not always going to help us, and we're often going to waste time and anxiety on that sort of thing. And if you're not a Christian, there's an encouragement there, that there's a God that wants to help you in day-to-day life, to have that security that you don't need to do life on your own, that there's a God that's with you, that's over you, that's helping you in every single day of your life, every moment in your life that you might be worried about, thinking, I've got to get this right. If you put your faith in God, you can know he's actually going to be helping you, he's going to be with you in each of those things, and that you don't need to stress sort of having to think it's all on me. God's going to be with you and he's backing you up in that. And as a Christian, I'm so grateful for God helping me in day-to-day life myself, and I want to trust him to help me to lift the anxieties and worry less than perhaps I do at times too. So I hope you found this helpful and encouraging, and tune in to the next Bible FIFA episode when it's uploaded.